No, that's fine.
Respectfully, absolutely. We love to talk about our diet and share it with people. This is not a new diet. The zone was first. It was deemed harmful, and then watered down versions emerged. Well, we never said it was
The
new.
zone wasn't the first.
No,
Okay. If we're gonna talk about things, let's get our facts straight, first of all. The
yeah,
zone was not the first of these, so
yeah,
whatever.
that is definitely
I
true.
don't have any time or nor desire to argue about my way of eating. I share it because it's helped me. So if it's not for you, like, just scroll on. It's kind of like everything else on the internet. I don't really,
Well,
I don't have time for that.
we are evangelists here. At least I am. And so I don't mind the sugar sick. I don't mind the sugar sick souls. I am. That's what I'm here for. That is what we're here for. To at least me. This is it's my platform, and I don't mind at all as long as people are not cursing or using profanity or things of that nature. I have no problem talking about why I do what I do, and hopefully directing
Yeah.
you to other people, scientists and doctors with different opinions. Because let's get real, most people think like this person thinks. I mean, we're
Yeah.
in the minority here.
Yeah.
So
I
we
mean,
have
it's not like they're saying anything new that we
yeah,
haven't heard before over and
yeah.
over.
I mean, there are
Yeah.
doctors
On
out
repeat.
there. This person might even be a doctor for all we know. I mean, so there are doctors who are telling this to people. So, again, we're out here. This is evangelism for me. This show, my cards, everything I do, I love to share what I'm doing and to try to get people to look at other data besides the data that they've seen, because we know there's data out there that will tell them this, and I'm happy to explain why that data is not correct. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, as long as it's respectful, I have no problem with it. Go ahead, Brett.
I would encourage them to check out the history of the food pyramid and the
Sure.
Ansel Keys and where the standard American diet originated, and all of the fingers and evil things that are weaved through in it with our economy and companies and the FDA, and to just look at the history of the health of the human race for the last 100 years, and then what it was like, way before that. Heart disease, cancer, these are relatively new diseases that, have hit us in the last 120 some years. So I'm not sure where he's coming from on his angle, if he's a vegan and doesn't agree with the meat eating, or if it's something else. But I would just, appreciate his opinion and say, do a little more research, buddy.
Listen, I come from the Dr. Barry school of this thing, and we approached them. Listen, I'm not gonna, not gonna call names, and if you want to call names, we'll bounce you out of here. But if you really have legitimate concerns about the diet, that's nothing new, because when you tell people you're doing this, their doctors are going to tell them in many cases it's dangerous for them. So we understand that, and we're here to share our doctors who have a different opinion. You have doctors that tell you one thing. We have doctors that are telling us something different. But in terms of I'm glad the point you brought up there, Brett. In 1900, you can look this up. In 1900, if you go to the CDC website, the leading cause of death in America was tuberculosis, pneumonia, and diphtheria. 1, 2, and 3. Now you fast forward to 1940, just 40 years later, the leading cause of death in this country was heart disease and cancer. Now, if you go back to 1900, pneumonia killed more people than heart disease and cancer put together. Now, you fast forward to that 40 years later, what changed? Well, Crisco came on the market in 1911.
Yep.
And from the late 1800s until then, it was promoted that vegetable oils were good for you.
They still do.
Yes, when people were using them in the late 1800s and early 1900s for their machinery, that's where vegetable oils were made, where industrial vegetables were made for. If they were made, they weren't made for human consumption. But because they're so cheap to make, you can ship them all over the world, they never go bad, and you can make billions of dollars from them. It was promoted to people as being good for them, and they should change from using animal fats, which is what people ate in those days, to vegetable fats. And if you look at a graph from 1900 till today, and you see the use of animal products going down, and you see the incidence of heart attacks and strokes going up. So eat what you want,
So
but
I would tell abnormal tendencies, just try it our way for 30 days and see what happens.
yeah,
Do your own N equals 1 experiment and eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs twice a day till you're full for 30 days, and then come back on here and tell us how you feel and
Yeah.
what it did for you. Um,
sure.
Unless you're a vegan and you're just not going to do it, but
Well,
that would be
Well,
yeah.
and I would tell them that how could you possibly think that eating a plate with half meat and half vegetables, which will bring ketosis, by the way, could be wrong? Like, I don't think in anybody's worldview that well, unless you're vegetarian for other reasons, and I respect that. Hey, whatever, but I'm not. And if I go to my doctor right now and I say not anything about ketogenic, right? But if I say, "Hey, doc, I'm eating half meat and half vegetables on my plate," they're gonna say, "Great, keep it up. Your numbers look great."
well,
So.
we got Doc V to the rescue here, Dr. Nelson Vasquez, more than 30 years of MD experience, and there are so
Dr.
many
Nelson.
others like him who are, can help out with this. And if you don't believe us, maybe you'll believe him. Even if you don't believe him, you have to respect his knowledge and you have to respect his expertise. But here's the thing. Because we do this and we hear this, we know this, there is no real science to back up the claims. There's junk science. If this person is what they say they are and have years of education in the field, then you know that epidemiological studies are junk science. And epidemiological studies are the only studies that back your claims.
Mhm.
Real interventionist studies, double blind, controlled studies, there are none that back up what you're saying, only epidemiological studies. And as we know, for those who don't know what an epidemiological study is, it's a study where you just observe or take a survey and come to a conclusion. So, for instance, if you're at the beach and you see people walking down the beach and they have sunburn and they're walking barefoot on the sand, you say, look at all these people with sunburn. There must be something in the sand that is causing them sunburn because all these people with sunburn are walking barefoot on the sand. Let's study the sand. Now, we both know that that's crazy, and we know that the sun causes sunburn, but the fact that everybody with sunburn is walking barefoot on the sand, it's just coincidence. It's not causation. So when you're dealing with epidemiological studies, they're worthless, they're garbage, they're trash. And you'll hear this, when Dr. Berry was debating Dr. Khan about this a couple of weeks ago. Shout out to my girl Lauren Knight Hughes, who had that debate on her channel. It was wonderful. Dr. Khan kept talking about there are so many studies. There's hundreds of studies.
Right.
And Bart Kay said it best. One turd is worthless. 1,000 turds don't make them valuable just because there's 1,000 of them. They're just as worthless. So again, God bless you, brother. Eat what you want to do. Eat what you want. I'm not here to fight about food. I'm
No.
here to try to give good information to people because big pharma, big agriculture, they have their agenda to make money, and our health is not a first concern to them. But eat what you like, eat what you want. Doc V, good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. I was sitting next to Laura when she was live streaming, and you were on there. Kim, the day after the Brazilian steakhouse, I ate 4 pounds of brisket at Guy Fawkes Smokehouse. Somehow,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh man. I
I
wish
know.
I would have got some of that.
Yeah,
Well, after he out ate all of us at the Brazilian steakhouse, he was the last one to turn his card over to Red.
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
was just
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about that.
yeah. I
I
was the
He
was
first.
just kept
I
going.
was next to last though, so I was proud of that.
He
Yeah.
kept going.
But mostly because they were being a little stingy with that ribeye.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Saying.
As a matter of fact, I think I saw Rick said earlier, were they pushing the cheap meat? Yes, they were. They came around there with the chicken about 11 times. About 111, 140, 11 times they came around there with the chicken. I'm not eating the chicken thighs. Get out of here with that, man. Those are $1.50 a pound at Winn Dixie. Bring on the $10 meat.
Yep.
I want that ribeye and I want the picanha. I don't want no. They had smoked sausage. You were killing that smoked sausage, man.
I had one piece. I had one piece of,
Oh, I
well,
thought
I
you
had two.
several pieces.
I had a piece of that chicken sausage, which wasn't
Listen,
any
hey,
good.
okay, let me tell you this. I don't care how much sausage you eat. You can't eat more than about $8 worth. Okay.
That's
A
true.
guy told me
No, I
that
was
one
like,
time.
get that sausage out of here. I mean, it looks
Yeah.
good and all.
It was
No,
good.
I'm
Props to
just
the chef,
telling you.
but you know,
I'm not filling up on that. No,
not
stop.
me.
Bring the ribeye guy out here.
And
Spin him
I am
around again.
eating some what I call sardine fries. So if y'all see me chomping, it's little air fried sardines and they're delicious.
Yeah.
Air fried sardines. I will have to do that. I just got some.
It changes the texture so much. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm waiting for factual evidence that we're incorrect. But we have a person here who hasn't eaten fruit or vegetables in 40 years. So there's that.
Yep.
Dr. Nelson. Yeah, I think I missed that, but I may have to check that out. I
Yeah, I have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch that. It was good.
Hey, Rhonda. There's my sister Rhonda. Everybody say hey to my big sister
Hey,
Rhonda.
Rhonda.
She's in the
Have a
Carolinas.
sardine fry, Rhonda.
Not the part that blew away. My sister Rhonda loves sardines. She eats sardines probably like every other day, or if not every day.
They're
So,
delicious.
yes. Well, I certainly am not any kind of doctor, but Dr. Nelson Vasquez is. Dr. Sean Baker is. Dr. Anthony Chafee is. Dr. Tony Hampton is. Dr. Annette Bosworth is. I could give you 20 doctors you can talk to. PhD.
But, I mean,
which one would you want?
We don't need
Dr.
a
Ben
doctor to
Bittman.
tell us how to eat. I'm sorry. Like, I respect all those doctors. I love them all. I don't need a doctor to tell me that, eating the way I do completely took away my joint pain. I'll tell them that when I go or when I don't go, actually.
Abnormal
When I go once a
tendencies,
year, check in.
We don't need one. Abnormal tendencies clearly does. What do we got here? I don't eat bacon or butter. I don't eat a lot of butter. Maybe I should eat more,
I
but
do.
I don't eat a lot of butter. I don't I
don't
fry
either.
things mostly in bacon grease right now, and I've got a bunch of beef grease saved up. I haven't started using it yet. But there you go. Hey, don't you disrespect Dr. Nelson now. You will get bounced out of the room here.
Not in here.
During Dr. Berry's speech, I thought it was powerful how many in the room stood up when they asked if they reversed their type 2 diabetes and got off of type 2 plus hypertension meds. Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
2 plus hypertension meds, by the way. There were like people that were standing up and saying they were on 3 different hypertension meds.
Yeah. My like I said, I my blood work, I posted my blood work 3 different times on my channel. And every time the numbers are personal bests. Everything's going the right way. AST, LLT, fatty liver, you name it. A1C 4.8, fasting insulin down to 11 from 23. So yeah, I think I'm going the right way here. Dr. Nelson says, yeah, send me an email or whatever. I'm not sure abnormal is open-minded here.
Mhm.
Maybe he is. Maybe some people are
I hope
just
he is. I hope he is.
yeah. Yes, sir. I could give you, I don't know,
I did.
Yeah, go to
I did.
Dr. Barry's channel. He'll tell you all about it. I
I
mean,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got off
I'm off my
15 different
meds.
medications. Now, none of them were for diabetes or hypertension because I don't have those. But, ADHD,
Yeah.
depression, asthma, like I didn't have official asthma diagnosis, but I had 3 asthma inhalers. So, whatever that tells
Yeah.
you. I don't know.
Yes. I mean, again, like I said, abnormal type 2 diabetes is 100% reversible. 100% reversible with diet. You don't need medication. I've helped many people. I've got a handmade card here. I can't reach it from here, from a lady who was on metformin for 8 years, who's off of it now.
Yeah.
And because type 2 diabetes is a disease of too much insulin, actually. I don't know if you're familiar with the fasting insulin test. You should definitely make yourself aware of that. Fasting
It's basically
insulin is
carbohydrate overload,
yeah,
Right.
and when your fasting insulin levels keep increasing and you become insulin resistant, that's when you become type 2 diabetes. You're making insulin, you're just not making enough to keep up with what your body needs. And the way to avoid that and to fight that is to decrease your carbohydrate levels. And that's, it doesn't
Actually, a
mean
lot of
carnivore.
people with type 2 diabetes have way too much insulin,
Yeah,
and
I mean, in fact,
it doesn't work effectively. So,
yes, type 1
like a lot of other
diabetes
things,
type
your
1
body
diabetes
gets
is a disease of not enough insulin. Type 2 is a disease of too much insulin.
And it's amazing if you do the exact opposite of what caused your type 2 diabetes, your type 2 diabetes goes away.
Yeah. Well, Bruce has got his fuzzy pajamas on. That's right. Staying up late, hanging out with us. Glad you were here, Bruce. Brother, always good to see you, hear from you. God bless you. Have a good night. We'll see you next Tuesday, hopefully.
Bye,
And
Bruce.
Sharonda's realized, yeah, she's responding to the she loves sardines.
Mhm.
She eats sardines all the time.
I just ate
So
a whole plateful, and they were delicious.
yeah. Diabetics have an extreme diet that's healthy for them because of their disorder. It's not healthy for normally functioning bodies. Well,
I don't know
again,
where you get that information, but
yeah, if you're really serious about information, you can my channel has, if you go to my channel, Homesick Buckeye, I don't know where you're watching this at, but whose channel you're on, but there are links to several doctors. You can go to their channels and get the information, or shoot me a message, or like Dr. Vasquez said, you can reach him if you really are serious about
if you're not being disingenuous here, which
yeah, I mean,
it seems that way in your tone, but I don't want to judge you.
yeah,
I definitely would be willing to give you whatever information you would like to have. But
yeah.
also I don't like to entertain trolls if you're being disingenuous.
No, I don't. Again, I hope he's not trolling. Don't think so, but it's fine. Again, he hasn't been. He said he didn't call me. He said you're an idiot if you think this diet is. And again, I've heard medical doctors say that, so I can't
Well,
blame him. Listen,
I've never had an idiot, or I had a medical doctor call me an idiot.
He said you're an idiot if you believe this diet is not harmful to you. So, like I said, I've had plenty of doctors say that it's harmful. My
Yeah.
cousin, shout out to my cousin Brian down in Fort Myers. Last Thanksgiving, we had this conversation. He had been doing ketogenic living and lowered his carbs a lot and was feeling really good and losing weight, and his blood pressure was down. I mean, he was really enjoying it, been doing it for a month or two. Went to his doctor. His doctor said, stop it immediately unless you want to die. That's what his
Doctors
doctor
don't know
told him.
everything. They're just dudes and chicks.
So that's why I don't get upset with people when they come in here and say it's dangerous. There are medical doctors telling people it's dangerous. So you have to,
Mhm.
if you're in this for evangelism, as I am, you got to understand people love their doctors just as much as we love ours. And when Dr. Barry tells us these things, or Dr. Hampton, or whatever doctor you kilts, or whatever doctor you like and listen to, We listen to them. We trust them. Other people feel the same way about their doctor. So, I don't have a problem with somebody repeating to me what their doctor told them. What I say is, and I told my cousin the same thing. Hey, I got a doctor you should listen to. Check out my doctor. Here's 2 or 3 of my doctors that I listen to, and here's my experience. So, this is evangelism. This is part of evangelism, is sharing this, and hopefully he has an open mind. Hopefully he'll do some additional research, get some additional information, and many, many, many thousands of people who thought just like him are now living just like us, including me. There was a time when I would have said the same thing. There's a time when I've been like, you're out of your mind. What? No fruit, no vegetables? That doesn't even make sense.
I mean, I thought that way. I think we all
Exactly.
did. It's
That's
not.
what I mean. So that's why I don't get upset or get annoyed with people if they are, sincere when they say these things, because I used to think the same thing. I love it. And I'm glad he's here. He's where he needs to be, right here with us, getting some additional information, and hopefully bettering himself and bettering others. And I'm good with that. Apex, I did. A1C down from 10 to 5.6 last time I checked 6 months ago. No meds. So, keto to carnivore. This guy's asking heart failure in his 40s. Okay. Well, now if you're using foul language and that, you got to go. So
Needs
that's
to check out Dr. Ovadia.
Yeah.
If he's wondering, eating meat is going to cause heart failure, that's a very kind of old idea. They figured out what is causing it, and it's not the meat. So check out Dr. Ovadia.
Any more profanities, buddy? We're going to bounce you out of here. I don't care. You can speak your opinion. You can contradict us. I have no problem with that. In fact, I enjoy that. But if you're going to use foul language and be disrespectful, brother, you got to go. So if you want to stay in the room and spar with us, bring it on. We have no problem. We're happy to talk about it. It's what we do. That's why we're here, is to share. But we don't use profanity in here. We don't do that. And again, none of us understand what ketogenic living is. We're not against fruit and vegetables. Most of us aren't. Some of us choose not to eat that way. But there's no problem with fruits and vegetables. The overall big picture is keeping proteins and fats prioritized and keeping your carbohydrates low. If the human body, here's another way to think of it. We know, and I don't think you'll dispute this, that excess carbohydrates, excess glucose in the bloodstream is toxic to humans. We know this. And your body has a defense mechanism against elevated blood sugars and such, and that's insulin. Insulin comes in, keeps your blood sugar down because your blood sugar is too high. It will kill you dead. Your body has no protection mechanism against fat or protein, because those things are good for you. Those things are what the body wants. If fruit and vegetables and grains and all the things that raise your blood sugar were so good for you, why would your body have to protect you from them? Why would your body have to protect you from them and lower your blood sugar? So even from a common sense standpoint, if you know that high blood, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter whether it's M&Ms or mangoes or muffins. They all raise your blood sugar. It doesn't matter if it's popcorn or potato chips or pizza. It all raises your blood sugars. So if your system is constantly trying to keep your blood sugar down, pushing insulin out, we just help our body by keeping our carbohydrates and sugars down naturally, so that our body doesn't have to defend us. So even from a common sense standpoint, not caring at all about what you eat, keeping your blood sugars low is the way to go. So if that means you like to eat some fruit or vegetables, fine. But there's a point at which your blood sugar is too high, and your body doesn't care whether it's bananas or ice cream. If you take a type 1 diabetic and they have no insulin, and you feed them a big bowl of grapes, it's going to do the same thing to them that a bowl of ice cream would do to them. Either way, they're going to end up the same place. So again, keep your blood sugars low, keep your proteins and fats high. That is the way to optimum health. And that if that includes fruits and vegetables, have at it. I know a lot of healthy people that eat some fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, I mean, you can be keto and be a vegetarian. So,
Absolutely.
it's not like it's not like this way of eating cannot be applied to, other areas like
Yeah.
vegetarians. It would be pretty hard to be a vegan, I would think, but I don't know.
Hey, Jeanette, having the time of my life. But yeah, eat what you want, abnormal. We're not here. We're not the food police. We're here to fight misinformation and give people information where they can make choices to better their health. And
And
that's
I am here I'm not here for evangelism. I'm here to share my experience because I can't not share it. My life has been deeply affected. So I have to share that. To me, evangelism is like trying to talk somebody into something. I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I don't really care how you eat, but I'm telling you that this has made me feel this way. And if you want to learn more about it, I'm open to telling you. But like I said, I don't speak with people who I believe are being disingenuous and trolling. That's not fun for me. So
he talks like someone who's a traditionally trained nutritionist, because he mentioned, eat lean meats and lots of veggies and fruit and whole grains and exercise when you can. And that's the recipe that has made America and the rest of the world sick over the last 40 years. Prove to us that eating lean meat, veggies, fruit, whole grains, cocoa pebbles and skim milk is what is going to make America healthy, because we've been doing that for decades, and heart disease is up more than any time in human history. Cancer is up more than any time in human history.
That's right.
Yeah, and if I eat what he said to eat, I'll be really, really hungry. Just searching for food everywhere, and I'll have high blood sugar because I can tell you I've done experiments on those grains you're talking about. I love rice. I mean, like, talk about triggered. Put a thing of fried rice in front of me, or even white rice, brown rice, whatever. I love rice. Okay. My sugars are going to go up to 180 if I eat that. And I'm not diabetic.
No, that's not right. Jeanette, nothing is wrong with veggies. It's about what you need. If you people who are eating lots of vegetables because they think they're making them healthy and strong, not so much. But if you like them and they fit into your carbohydrate macros, again, you want to keep your carbs low. Now, vegetables like leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, those are low carb vegetables, things like peas, carrots, beets, those are high carb vegetables. So, you may want to keep those things to a minimum, but it's about finding a carbohydrate level that works for you. That carbohydrate level is 99% chance going to be less than 50. Unless you're exceptionally active, if you're young and active and all that kind of stuff, maybe you can go higher than that. But for an average human being who's moderately, active, some number under 50 is going to be the number that you feel your best and you have your best health. For many other people, it's going to be a number, like for me, a number under 30 or under 20 where I feel my best and feel optimum. But everybody's different, and you just have to find your way. But the big picture is high fat, high protein, low carbohydrates. That is the diet for optimum health. No, I did not.
One other thing on the veggies real quick, Russ. It's not necessarily the veggies. A lot of times it's the glyphosate and the pesticides that are sprayed on them that do not wash off. And it's the oxalate, that cause all kinds of internal problems over time. So, and if you listen to Dr. Chafee, plants, they have toxins, defense mechanisms that are, actively working against our health. So, he says plants are trying to kill us. which there is some truth in that. So, you know,
Yeah, I love Chafee. That's my guy. I rock with him. Some of that stuff I think is a little hyperbole to get some clicks and things like that. It's a big tent. There are lots
Yeah.
of folks, including me, who eat some limited vegetables. And
I
there's
will
nothing
eat
wrong with
organic vegetables.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat
Absorption.
a bunch of. I'm not going to willingly eat a bunch of glyphosate.
Yeah.
I'd like
No,
to see a study on how the human body effectively absorbs nutrients from various vegetables. You know,
well,
what like percentage do you actually absorb when it goes through your digestive system?
well,
You know,
again, just like we talk about ancestrally,
right.
vegetables are part of an ancestral diet. They eat plenty of vegetables in the Bible. I'm just not. You're never going to get me to go hardcore against that if that's what people want to do. I personally don't eat very many. Last vegetable, I think I had some broccoli in March. I mean, I'm not
In March?
In March.
Yes, because my family was here.
What's that,
and
March Madness? You were just like,
No, my
yeah,
family
we're
was
going all
here.
out tonight. Broccoli, baby.
March was terrible. It's when my Pop Redden was here and fell and broke his hip and all that stuff. So my family was here in March, and they're vegetarians. They're Seventh-day Adventists, and they make a big pot of vegetables. And I had some broccoli about enough to fit in the palm of my hand, and I happen to like it. I had some green beans
I love broccoli.
about 6 months ago. I like vegetables, and I will eat. If I'm out at a restaurant, I almost ate some. We went out Saturday night, and I almost had some asparagus. I like asparagus. But again, for me, and this is just me. I'm not speaking for anybody but me. My biggest thing that I stress and what I think is important is just to give people information so that they can make their own choices. I hate when people are told that things are good for them when they're not. If you want to eat ice cream, if I eat a big bowl of ice cream, I'm not under any illusion that it's good for me. I'm not eating it because I think it's helping me. I'm eating it because it tastes good and I like it. But when you're telling somebody, eat oatmeal is good for you, eat vegetables, eat grains are good for you, I have a big problem with that. If you say, hey, eat grains, there ain't nothing in it for you, but if you like eating it and you work out enough and can be healthy eating it, eat it. That's giving people a choice that they can make on their own. But when you say, hey, eat this or you're going to not be healthy, man, that's bull junk. And I don't like that. And I don't like the way that's presented to people. So to me, there's nothing wrong with eating anything you want to eat as long as you're healthy, as long as you know what you're doing when you do it. If you want to have a little bit of this or a little bit of that, have at it. But don't think, oh, I better eat this or I'm going to die.
And that is appropriate for humans to have it every now and then. Like fruit, humans would consume fruit in the fall this time of year when the apples are ripe, when the berries are ripe, and then when they're gone, and they're back to meat until next fall.
That's right.
So,
Well, it probably depended on where they lived too. If they were in a tropical area, they probably could get away with eating a lot more fruit.
And they were active. They worked in the fields and were busy all the time and worked out. They could burn those things up. It's about the excess glucose. If you eat 100 carbs a day and you can metabolize 100 carbs a day, you're fine. The problem is most people can't metabolize more than 50 or so a day, and they're eating 400. So it's like you get this excess carbohydrate and this excess glucose that's just beating you to death and causing your insulin to spike and causing so many other things. So it's all about your metabolism, and what makes you you. I can do things that Brett can't do. Brett can do things I can't do. We can do things Tim can't do.
The thing is, if we had not gotten our bodies into such a state, if we had a healthy, optimal metabolism, sure, if we were young still, sure, we might be able to get away with eating the way that, he's saying to eat. I mean, I could probably easily do that if I was in my 20s. But now that I have, pretty much eaten so many carbs throughout my lifetime that I have just shot my metabolism, I have to resort to doing something drastic. Not that I don't believe that eating whole, real foods is the way to go, no matter what diet you're on, because that's 100% what I believe. And I've seen evidence for, but it's just, there you have to be in a certain state of health, like we were talking about earlier in the show, to even want to try something like this. Like,
Yeah.
nobody wakes up and says, I think I'm just going to only eat meat. Well, maybe Rick. He might do it.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you should mention that though, because I talk about this. Little babies, my sister had a bunch of kids. I've seen a lot of little kids. You got to fight them to get them to eat vegetables. You got to fight them.
Yeah.
But you give them give them a like a wing bone. My sister used to give like the little ones a little wing bone to gnaw on when they were teething and stuff.
It's a great teether.
Not a one of them ever threw it down.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them just. But buddy, you give them a carrot or a pea or something that they make the gas face and they spit it out. You got to put some applesauce or something in it, to get them to put it down. And I'm thinking to myself, now that I live the way I live, I'm thinking, are kids instinctively? I mean, do they instinctively know, man, this is not me. What are you feeding me?
Yeah, probably so.
It's like they know instinctively, man, this is ridiculous. Where is the meat?
Well, and also you can just look to your four-legged friends. Like, when you're cooking something, if your dogs come around, that's a pretty good sign that that's real food. Now, to be fair, my dogs love carrots. I think carrots are great, I don't eat them lately, but I definitely intend to go back to eating carrots eventually. So
I like vegetables. I would eat a lot more vegetables if they fit into my carb. I mean, I like to stay around 10, 12 carbs a day max, and I get that from seasonings, really, just sauces and things like that. It's really the only carbs I really get. But if I could eat broccoli and asparagus and things like that and stay under 10 or 12 carbs a day, I would, because I like it.
Eventually, once I heal my metabolism, if that ever happens, and I'm well on my way to it. I've come a long way. I may do 100 and below carbs as long as my body responds appropriately to it. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, and when you were talking with our buddy Jonathan there about adding some more carbs into your diet, perhaps. And he's a big fan of that, especially for females. He believes they need moderate, low levels of whole food carbohydrates for optimum health, because they're just slightly different metabolically than men, hormonally and all that kind of stuff. Yes, they're human, but they're a little different. And their bodies are different, their metabolisms are different, their hormones are different. They need a little different diet. But it's still a super low carb diet. It's just,
and I mean, you can ask like 10 different carnivores and keto. I'll just say ketogenic people.
Yeah.
You can ask 10 different ones what the right thing with the optimal, what the proper human diet is, and you're going to get 10 completely different answers, because we're all coming at it from for different reasons and from different life experiences and perspectives. And
I disagree with you slightly. I think you get 10 different answers. I don't think they'll be that different, because all of us, if we're ketogenic, are going to keep our proteins and fats high and our carbs low. It's just a matter of how low. You know what I mean? None of us are going to say, "Hey,
that's not true." A lot of people do low fat. So, there are people who push the fat, and then there are people who say, don't do as high fat. So you eat the fat from your body. So, there's lots of different perspectives.
There's definitely differences. I don't think they're huge, but there's definitely differences. I agree with you, because I'm, like I said, Dr. Berry, says, hey, anything 100 carbs and under, depending on your life, is good for you, and I'm like 100 carbs. You kidding me? For 100 carbs, I'd be, twice the size. I got to stay under 20.
Yeah, I can't do anywhere near that right now. But
if I worked out and ran marathons and jumped over things, maybe 100 carbs would be fine for me. But that's too much. I hear you, Doc. Going to a health fair. I'm guessing that is. I think I know what that is. I love that.
Hey guys, I need to jump off.
We're
being called upstairs for something. So
yes, we are done here.
So
we have fulfilled our contractual obligations. So we are going to shut it down here. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate you guys as always. We'll see you next week on the Keto Cookout here Tuesday, 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
Until then, take care of yourselves. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.